Okay, so this is Rogue Dungeon, and I put a review up on the Christian Geek Central YouTube channel not too long ago for this game. It's available at the Game Crafter, which normally would be like a red flag, like, I don't know, those games don't have to go through any kind of quality assurance, quality testing, or anything like that. But there have been a couple of reviews that made me think that I think I might really enjoy this game, even if I have to modify it a little bit. Um, so anyway, I'm not. This is not going to be like a, as is the case with all the games that I've been playing in this solo tabletop Dungeon Fest event. This is not necessarily a good way to learn how to play these games. I'm talking about the rules a bit as I play, but I make mistakes. Both I break the rules both on accident and on purpose at times, and I'm not always going to differentiate and explain when I'm doing which, because sometimes I won't know, and other times, I just won't really, want to get into all the nitty gritty of the mechanics. For me, playing solo games and even doing streams like this is just about enjoying the theme. And the rules are just a means to that end. So I'm not really, yeah. Okay, so it's been a little while since I played this one, so I might be a little bit rusty on the rules. Oops, I left these tokens on there. Last night I did a few mock turns just to refresh my memory on how the game is played. But you're trying to get through 5 levels of a dungeon, and you got just a little meeple here, which it's translucent, and so you might not be able to see very easily where it is on the board. Maybe I should get out a little wizard mini or something. If I have one easily accessible, I do not. Okay, so that's a good idea for another time. So yeah, I'm making my way through this card, which represents the level of the dungeon that I'm on. And each of these nodes, there's some kind of like an event that's going on there. And based on the color of the node, I can roughly tell if it's going to be a monster or something potentially good. But I'm making my way through and trying to get to the exit of each level of the dungeon. Now you'll notice I could just beeline to the exit at this point, but I don't want to do that. Because these other nodes, these are ways of gaining experience. And really, a lot of what this game is about is gaining experience so that you can take on bigger and badder things, gaining loot and skills and stuff, so you can take on bigger and badder things. It's very much modeled after PC roguelikes in that it's designed to be a game that you play in a single session, and in that session you are getting a lot of upgrades and stuff that will help you get deeper and deeper into the dungeon and take on a final boss. But a key thing that it mimics from roguelikes is difficulty and high mortality rate. And so I've made changes to this game because I'm not at all interested in a high mortality rate and having to go back and start all over and lose all the things that I gained. That's how this game is intended to be played. But I've house ruled some things so that when I die, I at least keep experience points and any stat upgrades that I have gained. I lose my equipment and my loot, but I resurrect still with the experience and attributes that I've increased. Hi, Balmy Leader. Thanks for coming out. Let's see. I don't have access to all these cards. These are like the spells that I have access to. You'll see the numbers next to them here. 3 or more, 5 or more, 7 or more. That refers to my magic skill. When it's at 3, I have access to Animate Dead. So this is a little bit like a magic skill tree. When it reaches 5, I have access to Fireball, and 7 or more, I have access to Lightning. But for now, those just stay there. I've got my starting equipment already, I believe. Yeah, I got my scrolls. Yeah, and I got my magic staff. So I think I'm all set to go here. Let's go ahead and hit this white spot first, because that's likely to be something pleasant. Let's see what we have here. Oh, the Skeleton Trader. I don't think I'm going to be able to take advantage of this. Now, this is a persistent card. And so This is actually one of these nodules that once I encounter it, I can come back and encounter it later, as long as, you know, before I leave the dungeon level. Anyway, once per game, you may draw 5 loot cards and place them face up on this room. You may discard 2 loot cards or 1 treasure to take any one of the loot cards on this room any number of times. So that's cool. This is going to go down here. Let me actually see if I can scooch this up just a wee bit so there's a little more room here at the bottom to see some of these persistent cards stick around. There we go. Alright, so once per game you may draw 5 loot cards and place them face up in this room. You may discard 2 loot cards. So I'll just draw the 5 loot cards now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they get placed face up here, so I can even see what he has on offer. He's got a potion of luck. He's got a potion of healing. That sounds nice. He's got a turn undead scroll. Discard to inflict d6 plus 1 damage to zombie, skeleton, shadow white, skeleton warrior, ghoul, wraith, vampire, or mummy, and gain 1 XP. That's very cool. Pearl necklace, that's not going to be super helpful, just except, you know, for trading in the future. And gauntlets of strength, gain plus 1 strength once per game, discard to reduce damage taken by 1 HP. So really, the potion of healing and even the potion of luck, but especially this this turn undead scroll, I think, might be what I'm most interested in. Anyway, I'll put those there so I can remember that he's got that. And then it's back to my turn again. Turns go by pretty fast in this game. So he's going to come around, he'll go to this yellow nodule number 1. So let's see what we got here. Trapdoor. Crap. Each hero must make an intellect check. Well, okay, well, I'm pretty suited to that. All heroes pass if any hero discards a rope. Well, I don't have a rope to discard, so I got to make that intellect check. Now my intellect is this blue thing here, so that's a 3. I need to roll well, normally in the game you need to roll a d10 and get, what is it, equal to or lower than? I can't remember if it's, I think it's lower than that you have to get. Let me double check. Oh, it's got to be less than, yeah. Less than my stat in that department. Which you can imagine already at the beginning of this game, trying to get a 2 out of a D10 is going to be pretty freaking unlikely. So when I first started playing this game, I was just dying a lot early on, and just found it to be an unsatisfying experience. And so what I decided to do is for all the skill checks, and even in combat checks too, roll 2 of the dice that are called for and choose 1. And I still end up dying multiple times when I'm trying to, you know, get to the very bottom of the dungeon. But at least this minimizes that a little bit. So let's see what happens here. Okay, did not succeed at that. So fail. Draw 1 monster per fail and resolve combat. Oh, that's interesting. So it's a trapdoor in the sense, not that I fall into it, but that a monster emerges from it. Or maybe we fall into it and it's shallow, but it's got a monster in it. I'm not sure thematically what's going on there. All monsters gain +1 MAV. That adds to the difficulty of defeating them. So, crap. That sucks. That sucks. Draw 1 monster per fail and resolve combat. So we are in the first level dungeon, so my deck here of monsters is all level 1 monsters. And we're fighting a goblin. So we put him out. So let's see. He's got... he looks pretty weak. He looks pretty weak. I'm hoping that... I'm hoping that I'll be able to take him out. So we'll put him up there. Let's see. So now I've got my magic staff, and for combat checks, I'm still rolling 2d10. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And his, let's see. I have to roll, let's see, what is the combat? I think it's got it right here. Target a monster and make a combat roll. Okay, so I add my primary ability, which is going to be 3, because it's an intellect weapon that I'm using, plus the combat roll, plus any modifiers. Okay, so I am trying to get higher than his. He's got on this card. He's got that sword symbol. That's an 8, and so I need to get higher than that, or at least equal to it. Equal to it, and we'll do damage to each other. Higher than it, I'm the only one that does damage, and hopefully enough to kill him, which should be, because I'm gonna at least do 1 damage because I have 1 weapon. Yeah, so as long as so my ability is 3. So the highest of these two numbers, which is 9, plus 3 is plenty to pass his 8 combat value. Although it was raised by 1, so that brings it up to a 9. But I still had plenty. So that means he is dead. He takes 1 point of damage from my 1 weapon. That's enough to kill him. And I get 1 experience because he's a level 1 monster. And I also get to draw a loot card, which is super cool. So, put one of these experience tokens here. And then he just gets discarded off to the side. And I draw loot. Loot, baby. And look at how big this loot deck is. Love it. Oh, this I don't love. Not the best weapon for me. Throwing blades. Discard to inflict +1 damage and increase a combat roll +1. I mean, I guess right now my dexterity stat is equal to my magic stat. And let's see, discard to inflict +1 damage and increase a combat roll +1. So I mean, like, it's kind of like an offhanded weapon. I could still use that bonus, I think. So okay, it's not bad. It's not bad. I can use it in a pinch as kind of an extra thing. All right. Now was that persistent? It wasn't. It wasn't persistent. So I can just put the put that token there. Once you put a token like that out onto one of the nodes, you don't have to encounter anything there again. Let's see. Let's go this way, because I think blue and green can be good too. So we'll go blue and draw a dark room. You wander into what seems like an endless dark room with shelves and piles of debris. Any hero may discard a torch or light scroll to draw 2 loot cards. I don't think I start with even a torch. That's kind of a bummer. And I don't have a light scroll. So, yeah, no harm, but no good for me either. And it's not a persistent card, so it just gets discarded. And we consider this room to have been explored. And yeah, now we'll move on to the green room here. A witch! What's her deal? You encounter an old witch. She offers to brew you a potion for some of your youth. Any hero may spend 1 XP to gain +2 HPs any number of times. Interesting. So this is my one shot. She's not a persistent, she's not going to stay here. And I haven't lost any HP, so this actually isn't tempting to me at all. I'll just hang on to my 1 XP, thank you very much. But yeah, again, no harm, and I am happy enough about that. So that room has been explored. Alright, so now let's keep going this way. Let's go back here. I'm kind of tempted. I'm going to save these. The red ones are, I think, always going to be battles. I can't remember for sure. But here we got a yellow right before those red ones. We got another yellow here I could go to, and a purple one over here. So I think there's some potential for me to benefit before leaving this dungeon level. So let's do another yellow one. What do we got? Gremlins. Gremlins try to steal your equipment. Oh, no, they don't. Each hero must make an agility check. If I fail, I discard a loot card. Do I have any loot cards? I don't think these... Do these count as loot cards? I don't think they do. They're starting equipment. Does starting equipment count as loot? I can't remember. Let's see here. Loot. Strength, weapon, dice, map. Loot cards. There are no restrictions on the number of loot cards heroes can have or where they are placed. Loot cards may be referred to simply by their type. Weapon, armor, skill, potion, scroll, equipment, treasure, or henchman. This implies a loot card of that type. Maybe they are considered loot. I think it's kind of like starting loot, maybe. Oh, wait. Loot cards may be referred to simply by their type. Weapon, armor, skill, potion, scroll, equipment, treasure, or henchman. And so he has starting equipment, and all these things are... So all of these things are that he has are considered loot. Crap. Okay. Well, I gotta do this agility check then, right? To try and dodge these gremlins? At least they're not attacking me, I guess. Yeah, agility check. Oops. So that sucks. I gotta get lower. I gotta get a 2 or a 1 on this roll. Nope. Zeros count as 10 on a d10. So I have to discard a loot card. At least I get to choose, it looks like. So let me see here. Do I want to get rid of the luck one? Discard to pass any skill check, even after skill check die roll. Oh, hey, how about I just use that now? I mean, it's the same as losing it, so I might as well... So yeah, we'll just discard this one. That kind of sucks. But it makes sense. Okay. And then these guys are done. They just get discarded. So, that's the end of that. Again, not a persistent one. Let's see here. Oops. So you move from one thing to the next in a pretty timely fashion. It's not... I mean, thematically, you're experiencing a lot more little events in this game at a much faster, in a much shorter period of time compared to Pathfinder, you know. But you do lose a lot of complexity. But what really is cool to me about this game is the fact that it is so simple and streamlined, and yet the rules still manage to represent thematically a lot of different elements of a dungeon crawl. And so I feel like thematically they fit in a lot more into this game than another comparable game, a game with comparable complexity, like One Deck Dungeon, which I'm not sure if I'll get to today or not. But anyway, yeah, so I appreciate this game specifically for what it is. It's not going to be my go-to for, like, all the richness and depth that I might want from still a streamlined non-RPG, yet a dungeon crawl experience. But it's really nice for when I want what its strengths particularly offer. So let's go to this purple one here now and draw from the purple deck. What do we got? Pit of Spikes, of course. Each hero must make 2 agility checks. Pass both checks if you discard a flying carpet. Well, I don't have a flying carpet. So I got to do 2 agility checks. Jeez Louise. Yeah, that didn't work out. So I take damage equal to the dungeon level. Dungeon level is 1. So I am glad that I haven't, taken more damage up to this point. But that still just leaves me with 2 hit points. Have I taken some damage already? What caused me to take damage before? I think I might have accidentally... what in the world? The trapdoor didn't do it, the gremlins didn't do it, the witch didn't do it, the dark room didn't do it, the goblin didn't do it. Yeah, that I accidentally had fewer than I was supposed to have. I'm supposed to start with 4, and already I was down to 2. That must be from my little mock turns that I did last night. So, yeah, that brings him down to 3. And then we discard the Pit of Spikes. Thank goodness. Don't have to deal with that again. Well, I guess it's a dead end. I wouldn't have to go back there anyway. So, now let's get into some slightly more dangerous territory. We'll do one more of these yellow ones, which still could be dangerous. Narrow Ledge. This one's persistent. So I'm going to have to pass by this again if I stick around and fight one of those red spaces that's almost certainly a monster. I will, on the way out, have to deal with this narrow ledge again. Each hero must make an agility check to cross the narrow ledge. You may pass if you have a rope or discard a flying carpet. Don't have either of those. I'm going to have to make the check. If I fail, I take damage equal to the dungeon level. Ugh. Okay. Well, um, okay. Let's just do it. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. What's this teleport here? This might be useful. Teleport. It's one of my starting equipment items. It's a scroll. Discard to bypass the current room and move all heroes to any location on the dungeon level map. I might want to do that on the way out. Yeah, let me save this. I'll try to do this narrow ledge for now. What's this shield do? Discard to block any damage. So that could be useful too. Any damage, not just combat damage. I guess I can land on my shield or something. So let's try to make this roll. Gotta get a 1 or a 2. Oh my gosh, I got a 1. Awesome. So somehow I crept past the narrow ledge. And let's see. That one is persistent. So that sucks. But he's going to move here and draw a red card at last. Let's see what's up. It's just an encounter. Draw 1 monster and resolve combat. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. 1 monster. Could be a lot worse. What are we facing? A green slime. Ugh, I do like that artwork. I really like the artwork in all the cards in this game. So he's got 3 hit points, but only a 6 like combat value, so that shouldn't be too difficult to overcome, at least not compared to some other things I could be facing. He'll do 1 damage to me if I fail in my roll. So yeah, well, I gotta face him. I gotta face him. So let's see here. I've got my magic staff. So I have my ability, which is 3. The best of these 2. Add those together. I think there's a decent chance here. I think I got a decent chance here. Let's see how this goes. All right, so you got a 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is enough, just enough, to do damage to him without him doing damage to me. I will do 1 point of damage to him. And so I'll put one of these newly made red tokens. This game comes with a bunch of tokens that you punch out of a card, you know? But it looks like the card is kind of like just like a default thing that people can use at GameCrafter to put their designs onto, and any spaces that aren't used to put designs on are still on that card. They're just blank. They're just white. And so I was like, oh, I've got all these tokens, these white tokens that I can pop out of this card, and I started realizing that they would be most useful to me if I used them as wound counters for the enemies that I fight. And so it was my intention to kind of paint these red. And so actually last night I found a red Sharpie and I just made all of these tokens red so that they could be pretty decent little wound counters for the enemies. So that guy has 1 hit on him. Although I think actually I'm supposed to have him start with wound tokens and take them off. I don't know. We'll try this. If there's some wording of some rules at some point that will make doing this way confusing, then I'll do it the other way. Anyway, he's got 1 hit for now. And so now in combat, you just keep going until one of you's dead. So here we go again. Oh, nice. Okay, that's definitely going to do another point of damage to him. And then 1 more ought to do it. Ooh, that's looking a little low. 3, 4, 5. Crap. Should I use the shield? Let's see here. Man. Yeah, let's maybe use the shield. Let's use the shield. I know it's just 1 damage, but I do get to camp after I get out of this level, and one of the rules modifications I made is that camping can potentially get me some of my equipment back. So I'll just use this shield. Oh, it is a magic shield. It's a magic scroll. So I guess that doesn't make sense even in non-combat situations, to block some damage. So I'll discard this to block that damage. Here we go again. Okay, yes, 6, 7, 8, 9. That takes him out. Nice. So, green slime, worth 1 experience point. So I'll just flip this over to 2 now. And I also get to draw a loot card. Flying carpet! Hey! We've had a few locations where a flying carpet would have been handy. So I'll gladly take this. Discard to pass Lake of Fire, Gelatinous Cube, Narrow Ledge, or Pit of Spikes. So... I guess I could use this on the way out to pass that Narrow Ledge, since I kind of got lucky last time. So let me stick around here. I've still got 3 out of my 4 health. Let me stick around here and risk some more combat. So that spot's done. We'll move over to this one now. Draw another red card. Pushing my luck a little bit, but XP is really valuable. I mean, like, I've got 2 XP right now, and I can... up on this board here, you can't really see. I'll actually just bring the camera over a little bit. But you can see the XP cost for advancing any of my stats there. Whatever the XP cost is that's listed, that's what it takes to move it up. Move the token up to the next slot. So I'm close already to moving up my magic ability by 1, and that will automatically by 1 improve all of my magic rolls. And so if I can do that, I must, for the power of the wizard Elderest. Yes, yes. All right. So. Yeah, did I draw a monster yet? I got carried away with other stuff. Here we go. Boom. Encounter. Draw 1 monster card and resolve combat. So still... oops, I should have discarded this one. Still way better than it could be. Some of these encounter cards have multiple monsters you gotta draw. Here we go. A Knoll. Alright. Pretty similar. Are his stats identical to the slime? No, they're not. Okay, he only has 1 health, so he's ooh. I was going to say he's less of a threat than the slime. That's not true. If he has more damage potential, he'll do 3 damage to me if I fail at my combat roll against him. So this thing is freaking nasty as far as level 1 monsters go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I really want to succeed at this roll. This might be a time to use the throwing knife. Oh, crap! I forgot to do this. I'm going to let myself do it. I keep forgetting this, but I'm going to let myself do it. After defeating a monster, discard to take the skeleton from the specialty deck. So I realize this may not make sense for the green slime or the... well, it would make more sense for the goblin, but I'll just say the green slime absorbed a skeleton at some point, and I'll animate that. I don't think the slime itself is going to have a skeleton, but we'll say that he swallowed somebody at some point. So yeah, let's discard that, and find the skeleton here. You can have these allies or henchmen or whatever they're called that accompany you and can help you in combat. So I got the skeleton here. And he's got a combat value of 5. You have a minimum strength of 5 for skill. Oh, for skill checks. That's what that's about. Discard to block 1 attack. So he's good for. He's not really going to do damage for me. I don't think that's how that works. I'd have to look up those rules again, but I don't think that's how that works. Maybe I will. Here, I'll put him right here. I'm going to look up that rule really quick, because if he can do damage for me, I'd actually rather have greater damage output right now. Let's see here. Gameplay, charming, exploration, trading, combat, combat roll, apply damage, loot. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see it really readily listed somewhere. So I'll just say no, that I have to rely on my own damage output, and he's good for lifting stuff in strength checks or taking damage for me. So yeah, let's take on this whatchamajigger, this knoll. Ugh. All right. So throwing daggers or magic staff. I'll just use the magic staff. So this +3. I don't think I have anything that's going to help my roll. Okay, very good. So 9 + 3, that's going to be plenty. And I'll do 1 damage to him because of my 1 weapon of the type that I'm, attacking with. And so that'll take him out. Just 1 hit. Nice. So I get 1 experience, which brings me up to 3. And I get a loot card, while also discarding the knoll. What do we got? Potion of Vitality. Discard to gain +1 Vitality and +1 HP. I don't know why I wouldn't do this right now. So I am going to do this right now, before something in this dreaded place takes this card away from me. I'm down 1 HP, so I can stand to gain 1. And then to have my Vitality go up by 1? That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Because normally that would have cost me 5 XP to get that. So very cool. That gets discarded. And are we ready for the next turn? I think we are. I'm going to mark that location as having been explored or dealt with or whatever. And now we're ready to move on to the last of the red locations. Here we go. What do we got? Monster Bash. You encounter monsters feuding. It's kind of like a turf war in Monster Hunter World. Before they see you, you are able to make a sneak attack. Draw 2 monsters. 1 hero may make a free hit to any monster, and then resolve combat. So I got to draw 2 monsters. I get to make a free attack against one of them. And then I have to, with whatever is left, I have to fight both of them. Now, there's a rule in this game. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But I'm about to make a little house rule with this situation here. Oops, forgot to discard that. So, 2 monsters. What do we got? A scorpion. Ugh. And a skeleton. I'm feeling extra disgusted by scorpions because there's a lot of construction going on in our area, and I live in Arizona, in Mesa, and when you have construction, it's very common for scorpions to get kind of like displaced from their normal dwelling place, and so they start relocating, looking for new places to live. So there's enough construction going on both close to our home and just in the surrounding area in our part of town that a lot of people are seeing a lot more scorpions, and we have definitely been seeing more scorpions. I mean, even in the last year or two, but there's been even a little bit of a spike in the last month. They're the desert kind, the brown ones, and usually they will show up dying or dead, but we had one show up in our boys' bathtub upstairs when my oldest was getting ready to take a shower. That sucker was nowhere near dead. It was crawling around and had its tail in striking, stance. Usually if they're dying, their tail's kind of flat or limp or to the side or something like that. This sucker had the classic dangerous scorpion look to it. And yeah, they're nasty to deal with. You usually try to put like a glass. This is what I was taught, what I've done for years since I was, living at my parents' house. Put a transparent glass on top of it and try to get it so that an edge of the glass catches on the tail. And then you get scissors or a knife or something and you just saw or snip that tail off. That's the worst part of it. And once that's off, then you can more safely, get in there and squish it with a tissue or something and get it all thrown away. With this one, he was angled funny. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a glass in there. And so I immobilized him first by taking like a big old bottle of conditioner and just squeezing that over. Like, there you go. How you like that? And he was like, I don't know what to do here. And then I got the glass out, because then he slid down the side of the tub, got the glass out, put it on, snipped his tail off. Dunsies. But that was the most I've had to kind of interact with the scorpion. Not cool. Not cool. So right now I'm biased toward killing the scorpion before the skeleton. Let me see if tactically that's actually the best way to go. Let's see. Well, the skeleton, according to these symbols here, can also be dealt with if you have particular items. So in this case, it's the Turn Undead matches one of those icons. And some kind of like potion, maybe it's holy water or something. I don't have that. That hasn't even shown up yet. So they both have a body of 1. The scorpion is going to be easier to defeat than the skeleton. His combat value is 1 lower. And if he gets through, he does 2 damage. So it behooves me. It's a good 7th grade vocab word that stuck with me. It behooves me to take out the scorpion first. Yeah. Now, here's what I was going to say earlier. You know, normally when you have multiple monsters out in the field at the same time, then whichever one you fight has their combat value increased by 1 because of for every other monster that's with them on the battlefield. But I'm going to rule that in the spirit of this scenario, the thematic scenario I'm being presented with, that he would not, on this first attack, get the benefit of an extra point to his combat value, because they're fighting each other. They are not turning and both facing me and fighting me together. So I think that makes sense. Balmy Leader says, "Sup, I ate pizza, chicken tender, and onion rings for lunch." That sounds yummy. I'm avoiding carbs, and so I can't enjoy the onion rings. But I do enjoy them quite a bit. Yeah, Balmy Leader, I'm with you. He says, just stomp the scorpion to death. Brutal with no remorse. That is kind of the strategy here. Not literal stomping, but as much as I can stomp with my magic staff, that is the plan. So I need to, on my roll... my roll plus my ability, which is 3. I need to get a 7 to tie with him, and an 8 to not take any damage from him. Boy, not good. Not good. I kind of feel like, since it's a sneak attack, also in the spirit of it, that I shouldn't have to worry about any damage from him. But this game does represent, in a single roll, an exchange, really, between you and another monster. So, I don't know. I already gave myself a little bit of an advantage. I won't give myself that advantage as well. Let's just see what happens. Let the dice fall where they may. Oh, crap. They fell in a bad place. So, crap. He's going to do damage to me. I'm going to do no damage to him. He's going to do 2 to me. So, in a single scorpion strike, half my health as a wizard is gone. Or a sorcerer, I guess. But no, it's not. No, it's not. Changed my mind. Skeleton's going to take that hit for me. Good gravy. So there goes the skeleton. And let's do this again. Oh, crap. Now I got to fight both of them. So now his thing is increased to 8. His combat value is increased to 8 because of the skeleton. I still want to get rid of him first, though. Yeah. Well, actually, maybe at this point, since his combat value is 8, if I kill the skeleton first, his combat value will go back down to 7, and he'll be less likely to do damage to me. I'd almost rather fight the skeleton and him be at a level of 9, and at least I'll take less damage. I do also have these throwing blades. Discard to inflict 1 damage and increase a combat roll +1. Huh. To inflict 1 damage. Does it have to be... Can I inflict... I think I can inflict damage on either one of these guys. So I can damage one, and then use the throwing blades to increase the combat roll on another. I'm totally going to do that. I'm totally going to do that. So let's do the 1 damage on the Scorpion with the throwing blade. Just take him out. Just take him out. And I believe... Well, it kind of happens at the same time. So we'll say that the Scorpion, being on the field of battle, still will up the skeleton's combat value to 9. But I also get to increase the combat roll by 1. So, yeah. Okay. So let's do that. Let's do that. So Scorpion's dead. +1. Let's see. Oh, I think I got it. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. So the skeleton is gone. Both of these guys killed. Very nice. Whew. And I get 2 experience. And also 2 loot cards. I'm pretty happy about that. Lose the throwing blades. That's okay. 1 and 2, Horn of Blasting. Discard to kill Harpy, or discard to negate the Song of Sirens. Well, I removed the Song of Sirens from the game because I think the art objectifies women, so I'm not going to be running into that. But I might run into the Harpy. Either way, this is a weapon, and just by having it, it ups my damage potential. So I am definitely going to be hanging on to that for as long as I can. Then I also picked up the Potion of Intellect. If your intellect is less than 7, which currently it is, but not for much longer, I'm about to spend... Oh, geez. Yeah, I got enough to... I think I already had... I could have spent that already to bring my experience up to 4. I'm going to do that post-haste. If your intellect is less than 7, you may discard to gain +1 intellect, and intellect is at least 7 for the current room. Oh, dang. So this has both a permanent effect and a temporary powerful effect. This is cool. That's really going to help my my roll. So let's see here. This is a potion. Oh, I like that card. So that's an upgrade just waiting to happen. But right now I'm going to spend 3 experience, which will bring me down to 2, and move my intellect up to 4 now. So that's already immediately going to improve my combat rolls by at least 1. Very good. Very good. This is going very well. Great. All right, so now we head back. Do I want to do the narrow ledge? I think I do want to do the narrow ledge because I can probably gain, if I lose health from the narrow ledge, I'll just lose 1 health. And then, oh, what happened to that? Did I not put a yellow token down for this thing here? I don't think it was a persistent one, but I still need to have a token down for it. Oh, no, that's the narrow ledge. Hello, Pater. Come on, wake up. Wake up. So yeah, I'm going to make my way back, pass through the narrow ledge, and try to make that that roll. Oh, I have a flying carpet. Each hero must make an agility check across the narrow ledge. You may pass if you have a rope or discard a flying carpet. Hey, let's just discard the flying carpet. How about we do that? Unless, well, let's see here. You know what? I think I should take a crack at it, because once I'm out of this dungeon, I can camp at the entry stairs to the next dungeon level. And camping, I roll 2d6, choose the higher of the 2, and then add 1 to the result. And that's how much health I get back. So I'm automatically going to get 1 health back. Right now, the most health I can lose is 1. And yeah, so I'm going to hang on to this because it might be used. What else can this use? Lake of Fire, gelatinous cube, narrow ledge, or pit of spikes. So yeah, let's hang on to that for now and just take a shot at this narrow ledge. I got to get a 1 or a 2. Probably will fail. That's okay. So I lose 1. Good. And then I'm done here. This white one. Oh. No, I could go here. Skeleton Trader, once per game. So I got these cards. I can discard 2 loot cards or 1 treasure to take any one of the loot cards on this room any number of times. So if I wanted to get rid of... let's see if there's anything worth getting rid of some of my loot that I currently have. Probably the ones that are worth the least to me right now are my teleport scroll and my flying carpet. This turn undead thing is pretty cool. But you know, teleport and flying carpet, I'm not going to be doing very great at a number of like obstacle type checks. I'm feeling pretty good about my combat stuff right now. So I hate to get rid of 2 cards that could really help me with some of those other obstacles. So actually, turn undead, I'm finding that very tempting right now. Gauntlets of Strength, gain 1 strength once per game. Discard to reduce damage taken by 1 HP. That's actually pretty good because I'm going to have trouble with strength checks. Pearl Necklace, no. Potion of Healing, no. Potion of Luck, no. Ugh. Gain +1 strength. You know what? Even if I die sometime after getting this, it's still a permanent upgrade to my strength. So I think the gauntlets of strength are worth getting rid of, both my teleport scroll and my flying carpet. And my teleport scroll, anyway, I can potentially get back from camping. So I will just discard the flying carpet. A little sad to see it go, but it's going to be all right. And yeah, I'll take the gauntlets of strength, and I'll just get that +1 strength upgrade right now, and then I can reduce damage that it does later on. Thank you, Skeleton Trader. Nice doing business with you. So then I'm done here, and I'm going to go down to the next dungeon level. Very nice. All right. Let me reset my tokens, and then I'll look at the chat here. Let's see. Oh, Bombing Leader says, I eat at different times, so it won't be that bad for my health. Considering the food I eat, I don't know how I'm still alive, LOL. Yeah, I mean, like, pizza chicken tender and onion rings, that's not, you know, as long as it's not like every day, every meal, that kind of thing, you know, now and then. But I'm actively trying to lose weight right now because once I hit early November, even late October, once we've given out that Halloween candy, right now we've got our Halloween candy. There was this crazy deal on Reese's Peanut Butter Cups at our grocery store, like a 5-pack for 29 cents. And they had a bunch of them. I don't know what was going on, why they had way too many of those, but they were trying to get rid of them. And so I did our Halloween candy shopping and just went nuts. But now, that was like 3 weeks ago. And so I told my wife, you got to hide these. You got to hide these because we're giving them out as Halloween candy. You know, I'll get into them if there's leftovers, which there almost certainly will be. But I do not want to be tempted by them until then. But then, you know, Halloween, we always get fewer kids than I think we're going to get. So there's going to be plenty of leftover Halloween candy, and that's going to be tempting. And then a week after Halloween is my 24-hour video game marathon for GameSave this year. And I always like to have junky food for that, for both the event itself and then for my recovery day afterwards. And then even if I were to really get disciplined the very next day after my recovery day, which is unlikely, it's only about 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And then Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving's just the kickoff to the Christmas season, where all bets are off, Because I try to control myself, but it's a season of feasting. I'm having hot chocolate every morning. I'm having special cinnamon swirly toast with sweet sugary crumb things on the outside. I mean, like, it's bad. It's bad. And so, so good. So I'm trying to just get a running start and losing as much weight as I can between now and Halloween. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's see here. Oh yeah. The what was the Song of Siren card like? It has. I mean, it's not literally naked women. If you look at, I show it in my review of the game. It's not literally naked women, but it's the kind of thing where it's like they're in a watery environment, and so their skin is glistening. They are wearing no clothes, and they have long hair that is just strategically either the hair or the shadow, or like shadows are just barely, covering their private parts, and so I just don't, I just don't like looking at that. I don't like that having in front of me. So, and I didn't want to, apart from the review, I didn't want to like be putting that in front of you guys either. So, anyway, but that's the gist of it. You can, if you want, take a look in that review and see if that card would be, a source of temptation or a problem for you. Because otherwise, I have almost no complaints about this game. Well, I have complaints about playing it as it's meant to be played entirely. But with the modifications that I make to this game, I have a ball with this game. I really enjoy it. So we're on a new dungeon level now, which means I can camp. I mean, technically you can camp actually at any space after you've had the encounter on that space, but you might be ambushed by monsters. There's a chance of being ambushed by monsters unless you are on the entry space or the exit space of a dungeon. And so I'm going to do, since I have a chance now to camp safely, I'm going to do that. And so I do a camp roll. Normally it's 1d6, but again I do 2d6, 2 dice with all my rolls and choose the best. And then it's nice. I got a 6. So 6 plus 1 is what I get back in health. Now my max is 4, so that's only going to be good for getting me 1 back. But another house rule I gave myself is that for every bonus point I get on this roll, what did I say? I recover 1 starting equipment or 1 luck that I have lost at this point. Now I haven't spent any of my luck points yet. That's what these little gold coin things are. It looks like money at a glance. It looks like, oh, gold, but it's not. That's luck for some reason. So I'm maxed out on luck. So all of those are going to be put to use getting equipment back, starting equipment only, that I've lost. And then also, whenever I camp, I also recover all skills that I've used up to this point. So the Animate Dead spell gets recharged. And then I'm going to gain back the cards that have the sorcerer art on the back. That indicates it's a starting equipment card. So yeah, I got these spell scrolls: shield, teleport, and luck. Got them all back. Very nice, very nice. But we do have to change some things. We move down. There's a little token here. You can't see it very well, but it indicates what dungeon level you're on. So we slide that down to the Roman numeral 2, and we are done with the level 1 monsters in the game. Now we're dealing with level 2. All right. So let's look at our dungeon path here. So it's another mostly straight shot. I could just do these 2 encounters and then not any others and then leave. But I really do want to gain experience. It's so important. I mean, I've done surprisingly well, I gotta say, with the monsters that I've had to fight so far. That could really turn very quickly. So going here might be nice. But I think I might, since I'm going to have to take on both of these anyway, I think I might go here and then fight both of these, because that'll be good opportunities for experience. And if I can get through those 2 fights, then I can do 3 encounters that have a better chance than not to be something positive or at least neutral for me. So I think this is going to be my path. And then I'll hit the white and then turn around and leave at that point. So that's kind of my thinking right now. We'll see how well that works for me or not. Okay. So, first yellow location. Spider's web. And this is a persistent one. Oh, I need to get rid of... Oops. Keep bumping that mic. Sorry. I need to get rid of these persistent cards from the last dungeon because they're not here anymore. See, this was a white one, and this was a yellow one. And these are all discarded loot cards, right? Okay. All right. So, new persistent encounter that I probably won't need to encounter again because I'm not planning on coming back this way. Let's see here. Balmy Leader says, trying to build a goblin deck in Magic the Gathering, but in total I only have 10 goblin cards. Sad face. Yeah, I used to really... my favorite part of playing Magic the Gathering back in the day was building the decks. I was really terrible at playing the game. And the decks that I built, unless I was playing with a player that was less experienced than me, and even sometimes, not then, I would get beaten. I was not good at playing Magic the Gathering, or particularly building the decks, but I loved making decks and trying to create a theme out of them. That's just how I've always been with all kinds of games. I'm so much more interested in the world and the theme than in really becoming good at the game's mechanics. Whether those are heavy tactical mechanics in a video game or a tabletop game, or Twitch skills like in many video games. It's always the theme that interests me so much more, which is why I'm more than content to alter rules, especially to solo games, if it'll make it a little bit more of a casual experience where I can just soak in the theme. I like games, whatever kind of game, tabletop, video game, whatever, to have a little bit of pushback, just enough to create a sense of drama for me, just enough to have me lean forward and wonder what's going to happen next. But ultimately, I don't like just out-and-out losing. But I found, even with dying in this game, it makes a big difference to have permanent upgrades, even if I lose all my equipment, to have permanent upgrades that I get to hang on to. Yeah. Okay, so Spider's Web is what I ran into. You get caught in a spider's web. Each hero must make a strength check. If you fail, you discard an armor, which wouldn't be terrible at this point because I've already gotten the permanent benefit of the gauntlets of strength. Armor, treasure, or potion. So I probably would get rid of actually that, or maybe one of my, it says armor, treasure, or potion, so it can't be any loot card. So it can't be one of my scrolls that I can regain from camping. It has to be armor, treasure, or potion. So I'd probably discard that armor. Because I don't want to lose that potion of intellect. Gosh, when should I drink this? When should I drink this? If your intellect is less than 7, which it still is, you may discard to gain +1 intellect, and intellect is at least 7 for the current room. So I've been wanting to hang on to this. Yeah, I've been wanting to hang on to this until I kind of need it in a combat situation, since I get that temporary boost up to 7. But hopefully I won't run into a situation that causes me to discard it. If there is, I might just rule that I can drink it before being forced to discard it. Alright, so I'm making a strength check here. And my strength is crap. I have to roll a 1 or a 2 in order to get out of this. So anyway, this is going to go here. This is a... actually, let's slide this over here. Start building them from that side. Alright, strength check, 1 or 2. Nope. Crap. For more chat about geek entertainment, answers to your questions, and news from the wider world of Christian geekery, get the Christian Geek Central podcast today on iTunes and other podcast services.